on my YouTube channel, there's a content series called Simply Answered, and what the goal of the Simply Answered videos is to just invite conversation so we can talk about a certain topic in more depth, right? So I could give you like a hour lecture on what procrastination is and like why we engage in it, but not everybody is going to have the time to really absorb everything in a given day, right? So I want to give you quick actionable tips, but at the same time, if you have any further questions, I want them to be asked so that we can discuss it in more depth, right? So one of the videos I got a comment for recently is about how to stop thinking everyone hates me. And in that video, the short, tip that I gave was this: when you feel like people constantly hate you, what you might be experiencing is not having a solid, concrete way of feeling safe. So, because you don't really know how to feel safe, you always are uncertain. Am I safe right now? Am I safe right now? Because suppose overbearing figure, right? Like your mom or dad, or a scary teacher, or like a big brother, right? Um, they're in your face and they're already angry at you. They're making it very obvious that they are very upset with you. In that case, right? It's kind of simple because all you have to do is just take care of this one immediate problem that's staring at you in the face. And while it's kind of a horrible experience to go through, when you're not in it, right? You have this kind of a lingering worry of like, when my brother comes home, is he gonna be mad at me? Right? Because why? Um, you've gotten so used to the stimulus of a threat staring at you in the face, it's really difficult when things are actually peaceful because you don't know at what moment danger might come again. You don't know at what moment the threats might start coming up again, right? So, because of these types of patterns, I encouraged you to look into your life and think, do you really know how to feel safe? And if not, how do you make that happen? So, like, your bar for safety, how do you lower it? So, what I mean by the bar is this. Um, is there a way for someone to let you know that they're actually not mad at you, right? Because unfortunately, what can also happen a lot of the times is this: oh, I'm not mad at you. No. And they say they're not mad at you, right? They say they're not disappointed at you, but you know they are. And when this kind of experience happens over and over, you're like, whoa, just tell me what I did wrong, right? Like, should I be worried? I mean, should I be freaking out, or is everything okay? Um, so because it's so hard, because it becomes so hard to know about these things, it gets sort of like, the question then becomes, how do I actually know that somebody's actually not mad at me? And these types of things we don't really spend a lot of time thinking about, right? Because um, we're so used to reacting to the big danger suddenly popping out in front of us. So the question that I got from username another cat is, how do I set the bar lower? And bar in how to feel safe, right? So the process that I want them to follow through is this, right? So I am just a YouTuber, and uh, you are watching this video. You think somehow I'm mad at you, right? Even though I'm not like actually mad at you because I don't even know who you are when you're watching this. Suppose you think you did something wrong to me by not commenting on my video, by not liking my video, by not subscribing to my video, and now I'm upset at you, right? Okay, so when you feel like, did I do something wrong to this guy? Is he mad at me, right? In this state, for you to successfully be convinced that I'm not mad at you, how can I reassure you, right? How can I assure you that I'm actually not mad at you? So, it might be that, um, I don't know, spend 2 hours with me and then don't be mad at me. And tell me about how your day is going and tell me a story. Or something as trivial as like make a joke or like smile authentically. So these things, right? Things that you kind of want as proof for people not being mad at you. It sounds ridiculous, but when you actually sit down and think about it, you will find an answer that's very specific to your life. So, my personal, drawing from my personal experience, right? So, my mom had a tendency of being very silently angry, right? And so, this usually happened when I slept in, right? So I sleep in, I wake up, and it's like, oh, it's pretty late, and then I wake up, and then I kind of note the silence in the room, right? Like I kind of note the silence in the living room, and then I start feeling uncomfortable. Okay, so in that case, my mom could be just really focused on her writing. My mom could be really focused on cleaning. My mom could be really occupied with something else and not necessarily mad at me, right? So, what is it gonna take for me to be convinced that my mom isn't mad at me? When I see what she's actually occupied with. When I see that she's not just chilling and she's just like mad at me, but she's actually, when I see that she's occupied with something else, that makes me feel at ease, right? So this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but this is a very, very, very specific thing to my life, right? But what the more important thing is, you are also going to have a very specific criteria for feeling safe. And that criteria will be based on what kind of threats you have experienced in your life because somebody is upset at you. So, the more you can identify this, right? Okay, so, for example, I'm gonna just come up with things on the fly. Suppose, you want, if you see that they are, just upset because of a reason that has nothing to do with you. So you want to know the reason that why they're upset, which is kind of similar to my mom being occupied to something else. Okay, then who did that to you, right? Like, who needs to be occupied with something else? Who needs to be stressed out because of something else to make you feel safe, right? We find the important figure in our lives who has installed this kind of behavior pattern. And then the more we think about that, the more we can see that, oh, but not everybody has the same impact to me like that, right? So suppose for you it's your dad, right? But what if mom's angry at me? That doesn't really matter, right? What if my teacher's mad at me? But my teacher, it may feel a little bit similar to my dad, right? Then why? Because these answers I can't give to you. These answers are very specific to you. So the more time you can spend to specify the triggers that are very unique to you, the more you can start separating your unconscious base trigger from the rest of the world. Oh, I generally feel like this because this is a big trigger for me. But the rest of the world isn't necessarily this trigger. The more you can maintain that kind of mental distance inside of your mind between your very big trigger versus the rest of the world. So that will actually set the bar lower. So that's the sort of the work involved in navigating through these types of things. Hope that helped, and for any other Simply Answered video, feel free to ask me questions and I would be happy to elaborate more like I did in this video.